Hello there, this is Bilgute Tumendimbrud with Today. I'm going to introduce very interesting guests today. Her name is Holly Bakke. She's an associate with Tillotson Nixonbeard, in other words, SNB. She has been working in emerging market financial sector system for the last 15 years, which means lots of experience in finance and economics. Thank you for receiving our invitation. Let's start our conversation talking about small and medium enterprises in Mongolia and in the world, from your experience.
Okay, small and medium enterprises, essentially small businesses, are the economic drivers of emerging markets. If you look at a market like Mongolia, they generate up to 40 to 50% of the country's GDP.
40 to 50%
right. Of the country's GDP and employ about 70 to 85% of the people. You know, so I think Mongolia fits in with those numbers of the international profile.
So how is it in America? What's the percentage and what's the
percentage of small and medium enterprises in the United States is very high. But the failure rate is also equally as high.
When the number grows, also the risk
grows.
The risk grows.
And they have problems similar to those in emerging markets, which is how do they access capital?
Right. And I was going to ask about that. How do they access capital? Especially now in Mongolia, there's economic crisis in a way. Yeah, we are in a down. So what is the solution?
Well, very much like other emerging markets, capital is hard to come by. Even in the United States, when they had a market slowdown, small and medium businesses had trouble accessing capital. So we have to look to alternatives to traditional capital. And one of those is a barter system. And the barter system that
barter system. Right, okay.
And that's the system that SNB has introduced into Mongolia. Right. And what it says is, I'm a business, let's say I'm in the business of construction, and I need to buy a car. I don't have the capital. All of my money is invested in my construction materials.
Right.
And I need a car, though, for my business to grow. In a barter system, I take my construction materials, I put onto the computer site the percentage of materials that I have free from my inventory. A Touareg value is assigned to them.
All right.
So I go on to the computer network and my construction materials, let's say, are worth 100,000 Touareg. Well, then I can barter for a car.
Yeah.
Right? Because the car has a value of so many thousand Touareg.
Yes.
But you're not exchanging actual money. Right? You're exchanging the value of what you already have in your business.
It looks like we are going back, in a way, to the times when the real deal going on. In the old times, you exchange sheep by some, leather or whatever, right?
Exactly. But the difference here is we've managed to make it easier and more productive, because instead of trying to say, well, you trade sheep for a car, when we don't have a value on the sheep and the car, this system puts value. So again, I could be worth 100 Touareg for my sheep. The car could cost 90 Touareg, and we could do a trade. And I would still have 10 Touareg left in my account. So through automation, we give people the ability to take what they have in their inventory, to build up tradable dollars, tradable Touareg, to get what they need to grow their business.
So we talked about alternatives, especially in downturn of economy.
Right.
What are other alternatives? Has this bartering model of business has it been tried in America? United
Absolutely.
States? From your experience,
Absolutely. And so again, I want to compare the experience of emerging markets, where getting capital is difficult to do, and it's certainly true for some businesses in the United States. But what's interesting to me is that the bartering groups in the United States are doing it because they like bartering. It's no longer that they have to. If you look at the number of bartering entities in the United States, it's very large. And people like the idea that I don't have to use my money. I can use my money for other things that I want and barter what I do have without spending
I do
capital.
have extra, right?
Yep.
So let's talk about Solution in Nixonbridge, because you're a consultant
Yes.
to the company. And let's talk about it, because this is very new phrase, very new thing in Mongolia.
Right. Well, it's the first barter system in Mongolia. They have set up a computer network, and by doing that, people who go onto their site will be amazed what can be traded. So yes, we talked about construction materials for a car, but it could also be construction materials for a vacation, construction materials for a flight on an airline. And the wonderful thing is that Mongolia, as much as its economy is still developing, is a world of opportunities. So if I were a small or medium-sized business, I would use this system because it helps me, again, grow my business. I don't need capital to grow my business completely. I can supplement the capital that I have by, again, trading off goods and services. So I think that this will help Mongolia's economic sector get stronger. Because what we do know from international experience is that these small and medium enterprises are really at the heart of economic development in an emerging market.
So there must be money value, but is it going to be online for this business? And how long has it been running?
It's been
until today?
It's been running for approximately 2 years. Since the idea came about and they were able to implement the idea. The value set on the product is done working with the person who wants to put the item up for barter and the company. And they'll help them set a value so it's reasonable and fair. But once the
pricing, the money value is reasonable and fair.
Right, it has to be.
It has to be, right?
Right, so once that's set, then the person is free to go onto the system and barter with anyone they see. So again, if I have that 100 Torrigan construction materials and someone wants, I can go out and get that flight, or I can go out and get tiles for a bathroom if I'm finishing constructing a house. It's really very exciting.
Yeah, it sounds exciting to me, especially now in this situation in Mongolia. Yes. Right, so what specific advantages will it bring to the whole economy? I mean, I know you mentioned it's small and medium enterprises, but in a big frame, what will happen?
It's interesting. I think the reason I am affiliated with SMB is because they're focusing on small and medium enterprises. It's where my heart is, because I care about the success of emerging markets. That being said, there was recently a large trade between 2 countries. One didn't have enough medicine, the other had industrial supplies.
Right.
So the 2 countries bartered. So I think the use of this system is only limited by our imaginations.
Yeah, if you can imagine, it's all about
it's going to be possible.
Yeah. All right. So, I wanted you to say this model is based on online platform, right? Is it website? Is it application?
It is. I mean, our customers, the people who join SMB, are going to be able to access the website 24 hours, 7 days a week.
What's the website name?
The website's name is Solino.mn. I can't say it in Mongolian.
Okay.
Come on. SOLINO.mn.
www.solin.
Thank you.
Solin.mn, right?
Okay, yes. So they can go on 24 hours, 7 days a week, look at the range of items available for barter. And that gives them immediate access. So if they have an emergency, they can turn right away to the website to say, look, I really need to get fill in the blank right now. We've used examples of construction materials. It could be I need a flight to go visit a client. I need it right now.
Wow.
and I don't have money available, but I have barter dollars or barter tourig available to make the trade.
And it can be very smooth.
Very
on the
smooth,
website.
very smooth.
Interesting, interesting. You also work with different projects in Mongolia, right?
Yes.
Can you mention one of your projects and what are you working on at the same time?
I work in the financial sector of Mongolia, and I am trying to improve its regulatory system. Very much like, again, supporting this organization that's trying to grow small and medium enterprises. We want to grow other entities in the financial sector, because the goal, right, is investment in Mongolia to see your GDP go back up. You know, you're in a slow period right now.
Yes.
But for a while you were a leader in the world in growth, and I'd like to see that happen again.
And I want to pinpoint consumer protection.
Yes.
On that side, because you are working with financial regulatory people,
Yes.
What is your take on that?
Well, you know, whenever you introduce a new idea into the financial sector, and again, this is from my experience in emerging markets all over the world, you need to make sure the consumer is comfortable. If the consumer doesn't have confidence in the process, they're going to say, should I use this process? So our goal internationally is to make sure that consumers know that they're protected in terms of the solvency of whatever entity they're dealing with, and that they're treated fairly. So this is a new idea in Mongolia. So we're going to see how it develops.
Right.
So well, you know, it'll be very interesting to learn from Celino's clients, to learn what they like and what we can do better.
Right, right. So what are the starting steps to grow this project or this consumer protection?
Well, the first thing is we have to experiment with the process itself. So we have to go out and get a lot of people to participate in this bartering system. And we have to then assess how well it's working, what's working and what isn't. And that will strengthen the use of the site by our members, but also, I think, give other members confidence that the site has been reviewed, it's been tested.
Right. Well, my last question is about your person. It's quite personal. So, what book are you on?
Oh,
this is my famous question. Do you know?
No, you have to help me tell the story. I've been coming to Mongolia for over 5 years.
Right.
I've seen a lot of Mongolia, perhaps more than even some Mongolians have seen. So I found a book. It's all in Mongolian, unfortunately, but it has an amazing, amazing number of pictures that describe the period from 1924 to 1960. And my goal is to learn more about Mongolia. If I want to participate in your market, I need to understand the history.
Understand the country.
The pictures are extraordinary. Everything from the very first KGB picture in Mongolia, which was interesting. And one last comment, there's a picture of the Vice President of the United States in 1942 landing in Mongolia. It's just a great picture. How would I know that the Vice President...
You have to show me that later on.
I will. It is great.
Please do.
It is great. He's coming down the steps of the plane, and everyone meeting him is in traditional Mongolian garb. And who would think an American would make it over here in 1942?
1942,
and
right?
the Vice President.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Holly,
yes.
Unfortunately, we have limited time, and if we talk over it, there's so much to talk about. But thank you for very interesting takes on financial and also Salitsani Nichtsenbirj. In other words, SNB. SNB. Well, I know it better in Mongolian.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, that's all for the interview. Now we want to show you world weather forecast. That's all for today. Thank you for being with us. You're watching MM Today. We will see you on next Tuesday with more news. You have a good one. Bye-bye.